Hello, good evening, good morning, or whenever you're listening to this. It's us again, Coffee and Cuddles. I'm Craig, aka Coffee, and by my side, as always, is the adorable, wonderful, pick your own words here, affable co-host, Cuddles, aka Anna Marie.
Hiya.
Hello.
Tell you what, why don't you grab a mug and come and join us?
I already have a mug, but thank you.
So this is our 13th episode.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. Actually, you can consider it a baker's dozen, but that means I'm talking about donuts and you and donuts.
Why can't bakers count? Why do they say 13 is a dozen?
Because they're giving you a bonus one.
Oh.
They're happy that you came. I have no idea. I'm not a baker.
But you're a teacher. I thought teachers know stuff.
But teachers aren't bakers.
What are bakers' teachers?
I don't know.
Oh.
We get in these moods like this sometimes.
Well, all jacuzzis are hot tubs, but not all hot tubs are jacuzzis.
Okay, if you're trying to lead into geometry and talking about squares and rectangles and all that good stuff, it's my 3-day weekend and I don't want to talk about work.
Oh, well, no. Shapes was yesterday. Yesterday was Pi Day.
Hi. Oh, see, you were trying to get me to talk about work. Shame on you.
How's that making talk? I don't understand.
Well, there's pies in the dessert, and then there's pies in the number.
I think second graders are just a little too young to understand what pi is. Just ever so slightly.
You never know. I mean, kids are curious and they've got all these ways to look things up. And if they paid attention to what the calendar said, they would have seen it was Pi Day. And they probably would have said, Pi is spelled wrong.
Oh, well. Somebody's missing an E somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have
in somebody's alphabet soup. All right. So.
All right. I'll let you have that one because I don't. I got nothing.
I could say it was in somebody's bowl of alphabets. I don't even know if they make those anymore. All right. We get like this. We get in the car, we shut the doors, we start the engine, we pull out of the driveway with a clear destination in mind, and all of a sudden one of us goes squirrel, and that's it. We lost the plot.
There's a plot? Wait a minute. Is it like a written kind of plot, or is it like the kind of plot where like dirt?
A Britain kind of plot?
No. Is there a written?
Oh, I thought you said
the plot,
Britain.
like the plot of a book. I shall enunciate clearly for you.
You keep trying to find ways to make me think about work. Stop it.
I'm powerful. Sorry, now.
Can we get this car back on the road, please? Because at this point, we have veered off.
You're driving.
Down the embankment. No, see, if I was driving, we would be on the road.
Oh, pardon me. Allow me to get out and switch places with you. We'll do a little fire drill at the red light and make it hop in, all right?
I don't think those are allowed. Although I've done that once.
I think we did it once too. I don't remember, but it was a long time ago.
Okay. Let's try this again. Hi!
So this is episode 13, and as you can see by the title, my stress is your stress, or your stress is my stress. Either way, doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. What does he mean by that? Well, I'm glad you asked, dear listener. I believe personally that it's very important when one member of the partnership, one half, if you will, is feeling stressed about something. Now, it is not our job to say you have nothing to be stressed about or to diminish what they're feeling in any way. You should bloody worry. Exactly. You should never demean or diminish or put your partner down because they're stressed over something. What may seem insignificant to you could be a major thing for them. I know that I go through those at least, I don't know, once a year, right? By look on her face of disbelief, I think she's calling BS and throwing out the flag on me. Usually about once a week, maybe a couple times a week, depends on the situation. Anyway, I'm feeling a little stressed right now, since you brought it up.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Anyway,
So, so here was my original thought. Now that we are once again back on the road and headed for a destination.
you had a thought?
Oh, that harsh.
Treat it gently. It's in a strange place.
Wow.
Yes, I stole that from my former mother-in-law. I give full credit to her.
Oh my goodness. So my original thought was to talk about what to do when one member of the daring duo is going through a stressful moment, time, whatever we call it. What do you do? How do you help them through it so that way they're not stressed? In a previous relationship I was in, I was forever told, constantly told to, quote, quit bloody worrying about it, end quote. That is not how you help somebody who is stressed.
Wrong answer.
Exactly.
That's what I was talking about earlier, where you don't, just because you don't feel the same stress as them or you don't know what's going on with them, that's not an excuse to say, well, just get over it. Oh, wow. Had I known that it was as simple as just get over it, I would need therapy.
Yeah, I definitely do not like being told the last phrase I just said, or quit worrying about it, or you're always worrying, or stop worrying about it. That actually ticks me off and increases my stress level. So that is not something that is ever helpful. So what are things that you can do when one member of the daring duo is stressed out? And the first thing that I can offer as a suggestion is take their mind off of what is bothering them. Coloring, funny show on TV, get out of the house, go look for rainbows, go lay on the lawn and stare up at the clouds. Hopefully there are clouds that day, and look for, funny shapes in clouds. Anything that is going to put your partner, your spouse, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend into a different mindset. Do you have one?
I lost my train of thought. Oh,
Choo-choo.
you and I are very good about helping the other to de-stress, whether it's through, some type of distraction technique or asking me about something else to change the subject. Or I think our biggest and our best line of defense is always humor between the two of us. And I will do silly things for you and with you that I've never done for anybody else. And I may look incredibly stupid doing it, but it's worth it when I see that smile on your face and you start cracking up and we're both howling with laughter and tears running down our faces and all the stress is gone. Now, it doesn't always alleviate the entire problem, but it diffuses it and puts you in a better mindset to deal with it. Because if you're stressed, I don't believe that that's necessarily your best way to de-stress yourself. Really, it's because you can't think clearly because you're so worried about whatever the little thought in the back of your head is. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! That you can't see that it may be a simple solution, or there may be a way to get to a simple solution. So I think distract and make people laugh is probably the best way that I've seen for me personally to change the situation.
Now, you mentioned the word solution. And my next piece of advice, if I can be so bold as to offer some friendly advice,
It's your microphone. Go ahead.
Not try to solve it or tell them how they can solve it. That is not going to help, not one little bit. You are actually dangerously close to upsetting them more than the fact that they're already stressed. So do not tell them how to solve it or tell them, well, all you have to do is, don't do that. Please don't do that.
I know that in the past I've been guilty of that. When we first got together, I was guilty of that. And I will take a little detour and I promise to get right back on the freeway. One of the things I read many years ago was not every problem is a nail. And what that means is sometimes when a guy sees a problem, he thinks of it in a hammer and nail way, where the problem is a nail and we're gonna beat on it with a hammer and the problem will go away. And now some women, not all women, not, I don't know, majority, minority, whatever, but there are women out there that will readily accept and be open to your suggestions. Now, couch them in a gentle way, in a friendly way, not in an antagonistic way, like, oh my God, why don't you just do this? Because that may be a solution, but it's not necessarily the solution that the other person is looking for. Now, there have been times when you've talked about people you didn't like, and I said, well, just stop talking to them. And I know on many levels, and I see that smile, I see that smirk on your face. I'm admitting my faults here. K. Glad you agree. But I knew that is not the solution that you wanted. So I kind of taught myself or relearned how to just listen. And I don't know how I'm doing. I don't have a scorecard. I think I'm better about it. Where I would just let you vent, and just like be there and be supportive of you.
Which leads me to my third suggestion, which is exactly what you just said. Listen. LISTEN. Just listen. Don't talk. Just listen. Because sometimes when somebody is stressed, that probably the one thing they're looking for is somebody to just listen to them. Don't add to the conversation. Don't ask questions. Just listen to them. Because oftentimes they are just looking for somebody to do exactly that. Because I know from personal experience, when I am stressed out, I just need somebody to hear me. I just need to know that somebody is truly listening to me, especially when it seems like everything around me is going chaos bound. It helps just to know there's somebody there who hears me.
Me, pick me.
Okay, I pick you.
Well, there have been so many conversations when you get off work and you'll start and you just go and go and go. And I listen. I don't interject. I don't add or subtract to the conversation. Once in a while I'll make a noise so you know that I'm still there and I'm still listening. Or, I may say, oh, that's horrible or whatever. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I've been rambling on for the last 10 minutes. And what do I always tell you? Don't worry about it. It's fine. You need somebody to vent to. And if it's not me, then that's an issue. If your partner cannot come to you and unload and vent their problems to you, that's going to cause even bigger problems down the road, because I believe that every partnership should feel like a safe haven for you. There should be a no judgment zone, a no pointing the finger zone, all those negative things and all the negative connotations that go with them. You should have a space where you can just say, okay, I'm going to vent, and I don't want any input. I don't want a solution. I don't want you to fix my problem. I just need somebody to unload to. And I think that's a very important thing. And there have been times when I've done that and you just listened to me. And I never once felt like you were judging me or saying, oh, get over it or stop it. Don't be a baby. That's another favorite. Well, don't be such a baby about it. I don't think that venting or, unpacking whatever your emotional suitcase is that day is in any way infantile, or, well, I guess you can act in an infantile way, but I don't believe that the overarching act itself is being a baby. If something's bothering you, to you, It's a legitimate issue. It's a legitimate situation, even though it may be the most mundane, inane thing that your partner has ever heard of, or whoever you're listening to has heard of, and well, that's just stupid, or I don't understand why you're so upset about this thing. And the reason why is not important. It's not your job to assess, well, how bad is this, or how important is this, or whatever it is.
Exactly. They're not, if somebody's stressed out, they're not looking for someone to assess the situation. They're looking for someone just to be there. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Big Bang Theory. But one character on the show, Sheldon, was taught by his mom that when somebody is upset, you offer them a hot beverage. And inevitably, throughout the series, whenever somebody was upset, he would go and make them tea. And there was one time that he was told by Amy Farrah Fowler, Sheldon, your friend's upset. What do we do? And he said, oh, you make them a hot beverage. And Penny said, no, thank you. And he said it wasn't an option. So sometimes it's something like that. Fix them something soothing to drink. Even if they don't want it in the moment, just the gesture alone shows that you care. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend go get them a soda because the caffeine is just going to wire them more. And if you're stressed out, you don't want to be more wired, but just something that's relaxing. And I know people are going to say, but tea has caffeine, but there are teas that don't.
Chamomile.
Exactly. So make them something soothing to drink because when you're stressed out, sometimes that will help alleviate all of the firing that's going off within you. And it might just help bring you back and calm and centered.
When I lived in North Carolina several years ago, probably like 2017, 18, I suffered through probably like 4 or 5 months of severe agoraphobia where I couldn't like make it to the end of my driveway to check my mail. And there would be times when we'd be out in the car somewhere and all I would have with me is my hoodie and I used it. And maybe this sounds infantile, but I used it like a blankie. And that was my comfort zone. That's what helped me regulate and calm down. And that's what I used. I would hug the hell out of it until I felt better. And that may be something that your person needs. Bring them the stuffed animal. Or in the case of Anna Marie, one of her 17,000 Squishmallows. All right. Sorry, it's only 16 and a half. Sorry.
16,999.
Oh, all right. See? But, I don't care if you're an adult. If that brings you comfort, then who cares what anyone else thinks? Scream into a pillow if you have to, it doesn't matter. Just don't take it out on your partner. That's never cool. I know it happens. And if it does happen, apologize profusely and mean it. Don't do the halfway. Sorry. I'm sorry you were offended. Yeah, that doesn't help either. We'll put that in the pile of things that it's never a good thing to say to anybody.
So Craig brought up a really good one when he mentioned bringing them something that's comforting. The other thing that can help when somebody is stressed out is hold their hand, give them a hug, just something so that they know they're not alone. Now, I know this is going to sound, odd, but sometimes when I'm stressed out, even if I know there is somebody there, I've got so much anxiety and stress and fear and worry and everything else going on that while I may see that there's somebody near me, I don't comprehend that there's somebody else there, that I'm not alone, because everything that's going on, I just feel like I'm the only one who is going through this right now. So sometimes it's something as simple as, hold their hand, give them a hug, rub their back, brush their hair. I know it sounds silly, but
it's a comfort.
Sometimes sometimes it helps just having that context so that you know, or so that the person who is stressed out knows, you know, there is somebody right here. You're not alone, because stress is a powerful thing and it can be debilitating.
Absolutely. There have been numerous times where I've been so stressed that it turns from stress into almost like a panic attack where I feel like I can't catch my breath. I can't concentrate on anything. My mind is going a million miles an hour. And it's at times like that when I'm especially appreciative of having a partner that gets me and understands and knows what to do. Sometimes you want to be touched and you want to be hugged and you want to be held. And other times you don't want anybody anywhere near you. And I think you're not always going to know, but I think it's important to learn your partner well enough to pick up on things like, okay, this is her mood where she doesn't want anything to do with anybody, and you have to give her space. And it feels very counterintuitive. Well, they need to talk to somebody, so I'm going to talk to them. And sometimes it makes the situation even worse because they don't want to hear what you have to say, whether it's fitting to the situation or not. They don't care because they're in their own little bubble and they're stressing and they're having panic attacks and anxiety and whatever. And you just need to know, okay, I'm going to leave them alone, and then I can come back later and do all the comforting things and the listening things and whatever. And you're very good at knowing, kind of like, okay, I'm going to leave him alone. Or there are other times when you just keep going until you make me laugh, which is very annoying. I will have you know. How dare you make me feel better?
I know. What was I thinking?
I don't know.
So you brought up another good one is, wait, what you put in your copy tonight? Because you're just on fire. So you brought up another really good one is don't you be the one to start the conversation. Let it happen if it's going to happen. Because here being asked, are you okay, can be one of the worst things you do to somebody who's stressed out. Because that can often be the trigger that causes them to take out, whatever angst they're going through on the person who's just asked, are you okay? It doesn't help. It doesn't help me anyway. But can I give them an example?
Absolutely.
Of something I did
Sure.
the other day? Okay. So, the other night, Craig was trying to find a specific email that he had received that had a time that he was supposed to go for an appointment. And I looked through several different email accounts and I didn't spot it anywhere. And he tried looking, and then he was on his computer and he wasn't finding it. And I could feel his stress. I could just tell, he's panicking, he's stressed out, and
Meltdown is imminent.
oh yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, mushroom cloud. So he was saying, that he could not find the information. And I was just kind of thinking, instead of telling him what to do, I just took my phone and went to the website and tried looking it up and discovered, if I just enter these 2 key bits of information, it should relay the information back to me. It should give me the time. So that's what I did. And then I just, quietly told him, oh, it says here that it's going to be at 10:30. And
Crisis averted.
and the first thing he said was, wait, how did you find that? And I said, oh, I just entered your name and phone number and it came back with an appointment time. And he was like, oh, okay. And literally I could feel the tension just draining out of the house. Like, shoo.
See, that's a perfect example of not judging, not making me feel because I felt pretty stupid for being upset about it, and I let it get to me, and I shouldn't have, and I should have been calmer about it. But the more I look through emails and it should be here, it should be here, it should be here. I know they sent me the confirmation code. I can't find it. I can't find it on my phone. I can't find it on my email. I don't know what to do. And rather than asking you if you had any solutions for me, I just went further and further toward nuclear detonation. And then you diffused the whole situation by saying, found it.
I tried.
You did very well. See, that's your shot at already done.
And I mean, he'll do the same thing for me. I think we may have mentioned at a time or two that I do work in education. Don't ask me why. But there are times that I will come home on a Friday afternoon or, just pick a day of the week. And I will mention, my desk is disorganized or the whole room looked like, a volcano erupted all over the place. I just need to pick a day on the weekend and can we just go in and just sort of move things around or put this stuff away or put this stuff up, and it helps. And it's very nice knowing that I have somebody that is willing to do that. And he won't walk into my classroom and say, oh, this goes here, this goes there, do this, do that. And he'll just say, okay, hey, your computers are out. Why don't I just go put these away? Or, oh, so I'm just going to put these books back over here. It looks like they're supposed to be on the shelf. And it helps because I'll walk in and I'll see 50 million things and I won't even know where to start.
It's very overwhelming when you have that many. You're like locked in indecision. What do they call it? Analysis paralysis, where you're so focused on all the things I have to do rather than like eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Exactly. I mean, I've tried things in the past when, it was just me on my own trying to deal with this. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this wall, then I'm going to turn to that wall, then this wall, then that wall, and then I'll tackle the center of the room. And all that ever seemed to happen was the center of the room got a whole lot messier. But it's nice having somebody who doesn't say, okay, where do you want me? Or why don't you do this? You just pick up a task and you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps.
I'm very happy to help you.
And again, we're not trying to tell anybody what to do or say, this is the perfect way to handle this. It's just our little bits of wisdom here and there and everywhere.
Things that we've learned through trial and more trials ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. And
Ad infinitum. And ad infinitum.
And in fact, your coffee cup looks a little bit empty there.
There's a whole lot of air in my coffee cup. Well, we appreciate each and every one of you being here. As always, this is just our 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary. We love you all. God bless. And I'm going to let Anna have the last word.
So for our 13th episode, this was my idea to talk about how to help somebody that you care about with their stress. And hopefully we've done a little bit of that tonight. And maybe you heard a thing or two that you haven't tried before and you might try it should the need come arise. I couldn't think of what word I wanted. And of course, if you ever have any ideas, feel free to send them to us because we want to hear from you. We want to know, what you want to talk about. We want to know what's worked for you. If you have questions, we want to be totally interactive, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So it is March 15th where we are. I'm not sure when you'll be listening to this, but enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are here every Friday and we will see you for episode 14.
Woohoo!
Until next time, have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Love you lots. Night.